Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Bruce McConaughey. I'm today's worship associate, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Silver Spring. My pronouns are he, him, and his. This morning we celebrate our annual water ceremony, a beloved ritual that mimics the way each of our gifts and strengths is mixed and mingled in community. Reverend Caitlin Cotter-Kohlberg and our Assistant Minister for Spiritual Growth will be telling today's story, and Reverend Kristen Schmidt, our settled minister, will be preaching today. Oh, some objection to your preaching today? I don't think so. Yeah. From a diversity of cultures, sexualities, genders, ages, spiritualities, and beliefs, we come together into one congregation. Here we are always growing, always learning, always loved. Whether you're young, old, or in between, whether you arrived by walking, rolling, or logging in, and whether you came wearing dress clothes or shorts and flip-flops, we're glad you're here. And we welcome you in the fullness of who you are. If you're visiting with us for the first or second time, or if you'd like to learn about how to join our church, you can find Linda Barrett, there she is waving her hand in the back, our welcoming captain after today's service. Children of all ages are always welcome in the sanctuary for every service, but our nursery is also open downstairs in the administration building for children ages 6 months to 5 years for any families who choose to take advantage of that. We have fidget toys and busy bags in the back of the sanctuary for kids and anyone else who might appreciate something to do with their hands during the service. The sharing of joys and sorrows is a sacred part of our worship service together each week. It is a time when we keep vigil for one another and hold one another in loving kindness. Some among us find the way this congregation has shared joys and sorrows for a long time to be very sacred. And for others, it's the hardest part of the service to sit through. This year, we will be honoring the blessings, challenges, and milestones among us in a number of different ways. This morning, Reverend Kristen will invite people to say their joys and sorrows aloud from their seats during the prayer. Please don't hesitate to let Reverend Kristen or the lay ministers know if there's something on your heart that you'd like to talk with one of them about one-on-one. Now it's time to greet our neighbors. Everyone in the sanctuary, please wave to the camera on your right and greet those joining us virtually. Okay, now everyone on Zoom, now's your chance to turn on your cameras and wave. Oh, come on, more cameras to be turned on there. Come on. Okay. As those on Zoom greet one another in the chat, I invite everyone here in the sanctuary to get up and greet one another in person. In a minute or two, the music will start, and that's our cue to go back to our seats and sing the opening hymn. The words to all hymns will be on the screen.
Maybe. We can just start.
Yeah. Keep. Ready, 2, 3.
You gotta keep
your heart wide open till the waves wanna push you around.
Get on up, everybody.
And join us.
You gotta keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground. Sing it again. You gotta keep your heart wide open, though the waves wanna push you around. You gotta keep your heart wide open until your faith brings you back to solid ground. I know what they're talking about.
Choir, join us on the parts.
You gotta keep your heart wide open, though the waves wanna push you around. Though these waves wanna push me around.
You gotta keep your heart wide open till your faith brings you back to solid ground.
Faith brings me back to solid ground.
You gotta keep your heart wide open till the waves wanna push you around.
There, we got it now, we got it. Push me around.
You gotta keep your heart wide open until your faith brings you back to solid ground.
Thanks, everybody. Y'all bring joy to my heart. Those of you who unapologetically sit in the front row, that is such a rare thing for a minister, so thank you. All right, blessed is the soul's thirst for living water. And blessed is this gathering, this community, this space, where together we are all invited to drink deeply from springs of joy, founts of compassion, carried down rivers of forgiveness, community, and connection. Blessed is the soul's thirst for living water. And blessed is the spirit of life and love that burns in, with, and among us, as gentle and as powerful as a single flame. Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Kristen Schmidt. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the settled minister of this congregation. Let us now all rise in body or spirit as Bruce lights the flaming chalice, symbol of our free faith. And won't you please join me in saying the chalice lighting words on the screen. May this light warm our hearts with love and caring and guide us in the ways of truth. As we gather here for worship, we pledge ourselves to the endless search for truth, to the right of each to believe as mind, heart, and conscience dictate, to accept the responsibilities this freedom commands, and to implement our belief in the essential worth and dignity of every human being. Won't you please be seated and join in singing our chalice song?
Kindle a spark, fragile, full of power. Hold it in your hand. Hold it in your heart. Let it warm you, let it
fire your spirit, let it burn bright, let it burn bright in your soul. Kindle a spark, fragile, full of life. Hold it in your hand, hold it in your heart.
Now, I don't know that it happened this way, but I do know that it's true, that long ago and far away, or maybe recently and quite nearby, there was a drought in the country. The streams all dried up and the wells went dry, and Mama God saw that there was no place for the animals to drink. So Mama God provided a well where all of the animals could come to refresh themselves. Mama God provided a well with the condition that it would be taken care of so all could use it. And as a precaution, she said, okay, so you'll all have to take care of it, but I need one of you to be a caretaker to make sure that nobody is too greedy or makes the well too dirty. And the lizard spoke up and said, I will be the caretaker. Mama God looked at all the other animals for a moment. She said at last, okay, lizard will be the caretaker. The well is over there in the mango. Lizard went directly to the well. But when the other animals came back for water, Lizard challenged them. First, the cow came to drink. Lizard sang out in a big voice, "Who is it? Who is it? Who comes to my well?" The cow replied, "It is I, the cow. I am coming for water." Lizard called back, "Go away! This is God's grove, and the well is dry." So the cow went away and suffered from thirst. Then the horse came, and Lizard challenged him, saying in a big voice, "Who is it? Who is it? Who comes to my well?" The horse answered, "I am the horse, and I am coming for water." Lizard called back, "Go away! This is Mama God's grove, and the well is dry." So the horse went away, and he too suffered from thirst. Other animals came to the well, and Lizard challenged all of them in the same way, saying, "Go away! This is Mother God's well, and it is Mother God's grove, and the well is dry." So the animals went away, and they all suffered much because they had no water to drink. Mama God saw the suffering going on and said, "I gave the animals a well to drink from, but they are all dying and thirst. What is the matter?" And so Mama God went to the well. When Lizard heard footsteps, she called out, "Who is it? Who is it? Who is walking in my grove?" Mama God answered, "It is I, Mama God. I am coming for water." And the lizard called back again, "Go away, Mama God, the well is dry." Mama God said no more to the lizard. She sent for the animals to come to the well. When all the animals had come, she said, "You came to me because you were thirsty, and I gave you a well. I made Lizard the caregiver, but she gave no thought to the suffering animals all around her. If one has a banana tree in their garden, it is theirs. If one has a cotton tree in their garden, it is theirs. But if one has a well in their garden, only the hole in the ground belongs to that one. The water is God. The water is God's and belongs to all creatures. And that is our story for today. Who wants the lizard?
When you're feeling dry, there's water in the well. When you're feeling dry, there's water in the well. When you're feeling dry, there's water in the well. When you're feeling dry, there's water in the well. From the sky, just a tear in your eye, all alone. Feeling tired, but inspired, while you're drifting away from your heart and the part you play. Dip the bucket deep, dip the bucket long, dip the bucket deep, dip the bucket long. Dip the bucket deep, oh yeah. Dip the bucket long. Dip the bucket deep, oh yeah. Dip the bucket long. Dip the bucket deep, oh yeah. Dip the bucket long. Dip the bucket deep, oh yeah. Dip the bucket long. When you're feeling dry, there's water in the well. When you're feeling dry, there's water in the well. When you're feeling dry, there's water in the well. When you're feeling dry, there's water in the well.
Yay. I was so excited to do that song with that story. It's like, I've been listening in my car for a year to this song. All right. So now is the time for our embodied meditation. And in this season of drought, on this rainy day, we're going to do an embodied meditation of bringing a thunderstorm inside. We're going to celebrate the thunderstorm that is happening for some of us with pressure headaches, but in a embodied meditative way. So y'all, do you want to sit in your chairs or do you want to move with me as I do this? All right, come on up. Be the thunderstorm with me. All right. So y'all have done this before. I know we did it last year, and we're going to start by rubbing our hands together. So I'm going to move, and as we move, I want the people in front of us to do what we're doing, okay? Does that make sense for y'all? All right, so show them by rubbing your hands together. Just start rubbing your hands together. Rubbing your hands. We have to be quiet while we do this so we can all hear. Shh. Shh. Snapping. Snap, 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 snap.
Thank you, everyone. If you don't have a seat yet, I invite you to find one and to sit down. We just had a time when we were making all sorts of noise to mimic a thunderstorm. outside of our bodies, and now we're coming into a time where we're going to listen to what's happening in our bodies and in our minds and in our hearts. Have you ever noticed how quiet it is right after a thunderstorm? There is almost always a moment before people and animals come back out from whatever shelters they had found during the thunderstorm. Even the insects, the bugs, don't begin making noise for a moment yet. It's quiet enough to hear the drumming of our heartbeat, to feel our breathing in and out, in and out. Let us breathe in and let us breathe out as we enjoy the blessing of being quiet together. If you have suffered a deep loss in the last year, I invite you to stand or raise your hand during the silence so the congregation can bear witness to your grief. Let us enter into a time of quiet together. Spirit of life, we give thanks today for fountains of joy within and among us, for new beginnings at home, at school, at work, and here at UUCSS, for the last days of the summer season, finally with some rain, for all of the joys in each of our lives. I want you to think for a moment about the joyous parts of your life, the blessings you've received or experienced recently, and I invite all of us to share those joys aloud, to speak them aloud right now from your seat in a joyful cacophony. I am thankful my kids are back in school. Lift up your joys, say them aloud, all at the same time. I am thankful for this congregation. In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief. Spirit of love, along with our joys, we lift up everyone feeling pain like arrows and tears like raindrops. Allow all of your sorrows, all of those deep worries and regrets to float to the surface of your hearts. And I invite you to share those sorrows aloud, just as we did the joys. I'm thinking of Jan. I'm thinking of Bob. I lift up all those without homes. I lift up all those living in war. In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief. When life's sorrows and the weight of the world's suffering becomes too much for us to bear, remind us, Spirit of love, of strength like a mountain that holds us up, strength gifted to us from the generations who went before, who looked at the same clouds and swam in the same seas and cried the same tears we do today. The strength of beloved ancestors who somehow kept on keeping on so that we could be here today. From the midst of life's fullness, we give thanks this morning for this strong yet tender, challenging yet comforting faith community where, you remember, we are all loved as we are, but too much to let us stay that way. These and all things we pray in the name of all that is noble, all that is true, all that is holy. Blessed be. Amen. So we now begin our water ceremony. As with most rituals, we use the ordinary stuff of life to remind us of the extraordinary that is always in our midst. In this case, all who wish to participate pour water into common vessels. Whether we carefully collected our water from a special spot over the summer or hastily got it from the bathroom tap this morning, or if you're like me and you completely forgot to bring any water with you, this reminds us that we all bring different gifts to the service of this congregation's mission. No matter where it's from, all water is water, the same liquid in which all will begin life in the womb, cleanse ourselves, slake our thirst, the same stuff of life that makes our life on this planet possible. And through our hands, our blessings, our love, the sacredness of this water transcends our physical needs and serves the needs of the heart and the spirit.
In a moment, our musicians will make some beautiful music for us while we come forward to pour a little bit of our water into the common vessel. And if you didn't bring any water with you or you forgot your water, we have pitchers here for you. So pitchers on the table. So as directed by the ushers who are going to help us do that, we're going to come down this aisle, down the chalice aisle, and then we ask you to return up the aisle that blocks our ASL interpreter. So please come this way and then block our interpretation on your way out. She won't be interpreting during the thing. I'm just raising our awareness again, not to walk there. Yes, normally. As streams that meet and merge and flow as one toward the sea, may our hearts and minds unite to make this church, this community, this world more free. So please join me in saying words of blessing that will in a moment be on our screen. Oh, the words are not on our screen. I'm going to say some words, and I invite you to say them back. Bless this water.
Bless this water.
Bless us with this water.
Bless us with this water.
May it be so.
I just want to take a moment to give thanks for our new accompanist, Grace Liu. The music has always been amazing here, and we are so thankful for the gifts that Grace brings to our congregation. In 1980, Carolyn McDade and Lucille Shuck Longview were asked to create a worship service for the Women and Religion Continental Convocation of Unitarian Universalists. That's a mouthful. They designed the service and the beloved ritual we just partook in to speak to our connectedness to one another and to the totality of life and to our place on this planet. And they decided to do it with water, symbol of women's spirituality, which was emerging in a big way at that time, but also the most basic substance required for life to flourish. They created this ritual 43 years ago, yet I've never felt the need for a sense of connection to one another, to all of life, to the planet Earth more keenly than I do today. I don't know about you, but in the midst of so much change, it's been hard to know where to pour my attention, my effort, how to channel my energies in ways that will be effective. You don't need me to tell you that we live in a time of social change, of polarized politics, and even rapidly shifting religion. But I do have some insight to offer about the nature of this change, especially in the realm of faith. Last June at General Assembly, the annual business meeting of our faith, I went to a workshop called Disrupt Church. It was led by Reverend Peggy Clark and Jill Novensky, both of whom are religious professionals who serve Community Church of New York. They've both been instrumental in helping that congregation emerge from a time of stagnation and into a time of innovation. And they began the workshop by talking about the changing nature of religion. Religion has been changing not just at the micro level of individual congregations or even in terms of single religious traditions, but at the macro level. And they identified 3 distinct eras of dominant religion. The first era was that era of the subject. Much like subjects of the king were dependent on him for justice and peace, during this era of religion, people were like subjects of the church, and they were dependent upon religious authorities for holiness. There are countless diaries of historical figures who were incredibly pious, but it is also true that a lot of people went to church in those days because it was expected of them. The next era of church was the era of the consumer. We are experiencing the end of this era right now, and I bet you will recognize its hallmarks the moment that I name them. The 20th century, especially the first 3/4 of it, were this era's heyday. During this era, the people went from being subject to religion to its consumers, and congregations became service providers. If the subject era was all about authority, the consumer era has been all about me, all about choice. How does this church meet my preferences for music? If something doesn't happen the way I want it to, who can I blame? The idea that there are perspectives different. Sometimes it can feel that way, can't it? The idea that there are perspectives different than our own and our friends in the congregation rarely occurs to the consumer, because the focus is always on keeping people happy, satisfied with the product. But church has never been about profit or dividends for shareholders. Its purpose is far greater than that. Yet over the years, I think clergy and lay leaders have become so focused on providing what we think people want that we've sometimes lost sight of what people need. And even more importantly, what our neighbors and the world need from us. There's a quote I love, and I can't remember who said it, but someone said, The Saturday evening news went out of business, giving people what they said they wanted. Just going to leave that there. It's not all about me, and it's not all about you. It's not all about any of us here in this room. It's got to be about us, and that us has to include more people than we have in our church database, or even here in this room. This brings us to the third era of church that I believe is just emerging. It's beginning to take root even as the consumer era is dying. We have so many metaphors in different faith traditions for new life coming out of the old. This is the era of the citizen. The citizen is an individual, yes, but functions interdependently with other citizens. In the citizenship era, churches that have turned the corner and come back from stagnation are communities where individual ownership and competition have no place. Because it's not about buying into programs that match our wishes. It's about co-creating something bigger than what we ourselves want. It's about growing our spirits until we are mature enough to take joy in things that aren't our favorite, but which might serve a deep need or make our neighbor's heart sing. Last year, UUCSS went through a mission and vision process that helped us clarify our collective purpose and the future we feel called to co-create together. And I'm pretty proud of our mission statement. UUCSS creates joyful spiritual community where we connect deeply, serve, and mobilize for our collective liberation. No pressure. I still need to meet with the vision team to wordsmith the vision statement, but the 3 items that rose to the surface when we discerned our vision were these. Number 1, revitalize religious education. Number 2, deepen connections with our neighbors in ways that further our values. And number 3, advocate for collective liberation by partnering with a neighboring organization or 2. I'm thankful to everyone who participated last church year in the workshops that led to these goals. But it's easier to write a pretty statement than it is to allow it to reshape a community. To do that, we have to be willing to make them our priorities. And that means that other things may not get as much focus or funding as they used to. This will sometimes be hard because change is hard. I think we know that by now. It can also be pretty humbling, especially if there isn't much traction around a program or a project that has meant a lot to us. Being part of a congregation can't mean we always get what we want. But it does mean we get to be involved in working towards something that will serve a deep purpose, both within and beyond us. Because our world is in trouble. You don't need me to list all of the ways. And congregations that don't figure out how to cooperate, how to flow as one, how to leverage our gifts for truth and love and justice, those congregations are going to die. They are. They're going to die. If UUCSS wishes to survive the coming waves of economic change, political polarization, we must learn to flow as one in the service of our mission. Because the way the world is going, we can no longer afford to be preference-driven or product-driven. We must be mission-driven, and in this way be like streams that meet and merge and flow as one to seek the sea. The lizard in our story for all ages today treated the other animals like subjects, didn't he? Lording his power over the well with controlling glee. A consumer-era lizard might have instead tried to create as many different access points to the well as possible, right? Attempting to please everyone with a different and yet equally attractive way to get to the water in the well by building pretty expensive structures. But the thing about the well is that it doesn't belong to us. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to the staff or the board. It doesn't belong to the church members with the loudest voices or the strongest ways of sharing their opinions. In the story, the well belongs to Mama God, and it exists for the benefit of all creatures. The water in the well is not ours to hoard. It belongs to all of us, and even to that which is greater than all of us put together, the fullness of being and reality that lies beyond our imaginations. The structures we built generations ago may no longer work for us to access the well anymore. But we can cooperate to find new ways forward, to invite others into the well's life-giving waters to serve thirst within and beyond us. As Bruce said today in his words of welcome, from a diversity of cultures, sexualities, genders, spiritualities, and beliefs, we come together into one congregation. Here, we are always growing, always learning, always loved. Here, we can realize and channel the amazing, abundant gifts we all bring, and we can become a gift to our neighbors and the world when we flow as one. May it be so, and may we make it so. Amen.
We plant trees that bear fruit we will never eat. And we eat fruit from trees planted long before we were born. All of us are givers, and all of us are receivers, and it is in the interplay that life as we know it flourishes. This connection between the flourishing of our lives and our practice of generosity is why we include an offering in every Sunday service. In a consumer-driven society, it's a refreshing reminder that the most meaningful gifts in life can neither be purchased nor earned, but simply given and received. As you can see on the screen, there are lots of ways of being generous with UUCSS. If you are here in person, you can also place your offering in one of the offering plates as it's passed around in just a moment. Or use your phone to scan the QR code in the back of today's handout to give through PayPal. Oh, one other thing. I'm also going to need some child ushers to help with something special. 2 weeks ago, we blessed the congregation's bags and backpacks, and we also blessed some special tags for people to carry with them. Well, those tags are ready today. After the offering begins, if you volunteered to help out, please hand these out to the congregation. Yeah, it's happening right now, isn't it? All right. So everyone can carry our blessings with them, whether on their bags, backpacks, purses, or even just on their keychain. The offering will now be given and received, and the tags will be handed out.
Good morning. My name is Catherine Buckler, and I serve as president of the UCSS board. And my pronouns are she and her. We gather in person and on Zoom for worship every Sunday morning here at UCSS. But our church is not only the organization that puts together these services. We are a vibrant collective of volunteers and staff. We are part of the wider Silver Spring community. We are a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association and part of the global UU denomination. Today, we have 3 announcements. First, everyone is invited to stay after today's service to grab a pizza lunch. A few minutes after everyone has had a chance to grab some food, we will begin the volunteer training right here in this sanctuary. Are you serving on a committee this year? Or would you like to learn more about how our congregation works? Then this training is for you. And while the adults are getting their learning on, we will be having water games outside on the lawn for the kids. It even looks like the weather has cooperated on our splash day plans. So enjoy. Announcement 2. I'm glad to share that we have secured permission from CHI, which is an organization up the street, for church members to park in their parking lot. CHI is the property next to our property, right next to the church on New Hampshire Avenue. So leaving here, if you were to turn right on New Hampshire Avenue, it's the next driveway up north. In general, we would like to reserve the church lot for people who have mobility challenges, and we kindly ask anyone who is able to park in the CHI lot on Sunday mornings. It's nice to see a nice full sanctuary here, and that will always present some challenges to our parking lot. Third, a reminder that the memorial service for our beloved Jan Harrelson is scheduled for Friday, September 22nd at 11 a.m. The service will be streamed on Zoom for anyone who would like to tune in but can't make it in person. Thank you.
Please join me in the words to our chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again.
Let's rise in body and spirit for our final hymn as tranquil streams. The words will be on the screen.
To seek the
Friends, the world awaits our ministry which will go farther and do more if we flow as one.
Let us go forward in the power of love, proclaiming the deep truths that make us free.
Our worship has ended, and now our service and pizza lunch begin.
Everyone is welcome to join us in singing Blue Boat Home number 1064. If it's not in the slide on the screen.
Yes, it is.
It is, okay, great.